Every year, during a specific window of a few days, millions of animals are sacrificed across the globe. It is an operation of massive scale and significant expense. Critics often look at the logistics and ask a practical question. Could these billions of dollars be better spent on hospitals, schools, or direct poverty relief? To find the purpose behind this ritual, we have to look at the frequency of names in the Quran. While the Prophet Muhammad is mentioned 4 times, the name of Prophet Ibrahim appears 69 times. This frequency reflects a specific linguistic and historical fact. The word Muslim, defined as one who submits, is a title that Ibrahim first applied to himself and his followers. Because Ibrahim provides the definition of what it means to be a believer, his life serves as the primary case study for understanding the logic of sacrifice. Thousands of years ago, Babylon was a sophisticated, fortified city, yet its spiritual life was centered on the worship of physical statues. In every home and temple, people prayed to blocks of wood, stone, and gold for health and wealth. The city's absolute ruler, King Nimrod, enforced this worship, and his master craftsman Azar was the man who carved these figures. Ibrahim grew up inside Azar's workshop, surrounded by the very gods his neighbors worshipped. This environment created a unique friction. Surrounded by physical idols, Ibrahim began to use logic to challenge their divinity. He saw that faith required more than traditional habit. It required a mind capable of questioning its surroundings. Ibrahim began by questioning his father's work. He asked why a man should bow to something he carved with his own hands, something that could neither hear a prayer nor respond to a plea. To prove the statue's helplessness, Ibrahim entered the temple and destroyed all the idols except for the largest one. When the townspeople demanded an explanation, he told them to ask the surviving statue what happened. The silence of the stone exposed the absurdity of their worship. King Nimrod responded by ordering Ibrahim's execution. He built a massive inferno, a fire so large that historical accounts claim birds could not fly over it without being scorched. As he was thrown into the fire, Ibrahim rejected an offer of help from the angel Jibril, stating that God's knowledge of his situation was enough. By his command, the fire became cool and safe, and Ibrahim walked out untouched. He had successfully challenged the physical gods of his city. But the destruction of stone idols was only the beginning of a much deeper internal struggle. Ibrahim eventually left Babylon, migrating across the region. In his old age, he was finally granted a son, Ishmael, through his second wife, Hajar. Shortly after, Ibrahim was commanded to leave Hajar and his infant son in a barren, waterless valley in the Arabian desert. He was being asked to trade the comfort and safety of his family for total reliance on a divine promise. Alone in the heat, Hajar ran 7 times between the hills of Safa and Marwa, searching for any sign of water or life, as her infant son cried out from an overwhelming thirst. At the point of total exhaustion, the spring of Zamzam erupted from the sand near Ismail's feet. This water source saved their lives and eventually attracted the Jorham tribe, turning a desert valley into a thriving settlement. By following the command to leave his family, Ibrahim had detached himself from the human need for safety and domestic comfort. Years later, the family was reunited, but a final test emerged. Ibrahim began to see a recurring dream in which he was commanded to sacrifice his son, Ismail. Ibrahim shared this dream with Ismail, who encouraged his father to follow the command. They traveled together to the valley of Mina to carry out the act, both accepting a decree that contradicted every natural human instinct. Along the way, the devil appeared to whisper doubts and urge Ibrahim to protect his son. Ibrahim struck back by casting stones at the tempter, physically rejecting the urge to prioritize his own love over his duty. As Ibrahim drew the blade, God intervened, replacing Ismail with a ram. The boy was spared. The event focused on the deepest human bond, the love for a child. Ibrahim had demonstrated that even his most intense earthly attachment was secondary to his submission. Following this trial, Ibrahim and Ismail built the Kaaba together. This structure became the geographic center of the Islamic world and the destination for billions of believers. pilgrims in Mecca today perform a literal history lesson. They run between Safa and Marwa to mirror Hajar's search, and they cast stones at the Jamarat pillars to replicate Ibrahim's rejection of temptation. These rituals keep the legacy of Millat-e-Ibrahim alive. The practice of Islam is a physical, repeating memorial of a single family's history. Every step of the pilgrimage and every prayer offered toward the Kaaba is a direct echo of Ibrahim's actions. The ritual of Qurbani is a yearly exercise in identifying personal attachments. It is a moment to look at our own lives and find our own Ismail, the specific thing we love so much it obscures our sense of duty. This diagram shows the shift from ancient to modern. We no longer pray to stone statues, but we still struggle with the idols of ego, wealth, and social status. Every believer is challenged to ask what earthly attachment they are currently unwilling to let go of. What is the one thing standing between you and total submission? Ibrahim's life suggests that spiritual freedom is found through the voluntary surrender of what we cherish most. The ritual is not about the animal, it is about the person holding the knife.